You are listening to the Beyond the Pain podcast, where Dr. Emil Tompkins and his guests guide you through the latest techniques to relieve your pain and learn how to fuel, move, and think for lifetime wellness.
Once upon a time, a really long time ago, I had an experience with an 8-year-old kid that changed our focus dramatically. It all started when I was in chiropractic college. This was a while ago, about 20 years. I was walking home from class, and I would run into people all the time. Well, let's talk about this neighborhood I lived in. This is Davenport, Iowa. It was a once booming river town along the Mississippi when the shipping industry was really big. So back in the 1800s, this neighborhood was this booming place all along the river, these Victorian houses, these big mansions, and this really neat place. But that was then. Now, a lot of those mansions are run down. A thriving shipping industry was replaced by more efficient ways to get your stuff to other parts of the country. And so this booming town eventually got run down. The area where our college was in was pretty poor, was a pretty poor area town. And I met lots of people, lots of really cool, really interesting people on my walks. But there were two people in particular that I met that really started to shape and change my thinking. There's one man who saw me walking to school, and he was looking at me, and this man was African American, just like me, and he looks at me and as I'm walking to school, and he says, "Hey, you go to that school?" And I said, "Yep," proudly, because this is the best chiropractic college in the world. And then he said something that really got me thinking. He said, "Wow, I didn't think we," meaning black people, could even go to that school. Now, I'm not sure if this guy was being serious or not, but when he said that, it really got me thinking. People from all over the world were coming to the school because it's the best in the world. But somehow, people in our own neighborhoods don't realize that this is something that they can do, or that they can achieve, or that they should do. And it's not right. It's not fair. And from that moment on, it became a mission of mine to change that. I think I started to annoy the president of the college. He probably got sick of me coming to tell him about this issue, and that I'm going to need to probably break some rules in order to get this message out to the community. Because back then, students weren't allowed to go out and do public presentations and that sort of thing. And I'm not sure why, but I think maybe they didn't want to worry about what the students would say on behalf of the school. But we had a problem that was a lot bigger than that. We had an issue where a community that needed help didn't realize that help was right next door, that it was possible to achieve something that could pull you up out of the situation that you're in. And it's right across the street. I learned a really important lesson that day, that you can make a difference all over the world, and that's noble. And there is need everywhere. But in that process, don't forget about helping your neighbor right next to you. They're so much easier to reach, and you have so many more opportunities to reach them. The next person that we'll talk about is an 8-year-old kid. I was walking home from school one day, and he came to me, and he was asking me if I wanted to buy some chocolate. And I love it when these kids come and talk to me, so I was asking him some questions. I wanted to get an idea of what he was selling and just wanted to get him talking. And so I asked him the types of chocolate that he was selling, and he looked at his box, and he looked at me, and he started trying to read the types of chocolate on his bars, and he couldn't. He couldn't read any of it. He wasn't able to let me know. And so then we talked, and I was starting to help him, and so that he understood what he had. But it broke my heart that this kid is 8. He's in 3rd grade. These are things that it's time for him to be able to achieve that. And if you start behind at an early age, it's so much harder to catch up. So in seeing that, it made me realize that our community is a community that needs help. Our community is a community that needs to be picked up. As we were learning about the educational system, we realized there were some serious problems that if we were going to step up, we needed to step up in the schools. And so that was something that so many people were a part of making a difference in that community. And I'm just so thankful to be able to have been a part of that. But one of the things that we do as a result of that is, now that we're here in Southern Arizona, that we're working to make our corner of the world a better place to live. And again, I say all this not because we shouldn't focus on other places. And we should. There's need all over the place. But don't forget about your corner. One of the things that we're doing over the next couple of weeks, and I'll have a link in the show notes if you're interested. If you're here in Southern Arizona, we have kids starting school. We have some kids that don't have the same opportunities as others. And if we can help them have the supplies and things that they need, it can make a difference. So I invite you, there's a link in the show notes. You can just click on that link and you can donate to be able to get school supplies to the kids, or you can just bring them by the office here at Tompkins Family Chiropractic if you are here in Southern Arizona. Some people love to shop, so I don't want to rob you of that opportunity. Some want to help but don't really have that desire to shop, and that is okay. So there's a link in the bottom of the show notes. Go ahead and click that. It'll take you to the page to donate. I'll have our address in the show notes too. You're welcome to come by and bring whatever you'd like. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins. I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with you some things that have happened in my life and how that shaped me, and then how you can use that to make a difference yourself. Because there's research that shows doing good for others actually does good for you, your body, your health, your stress levels, your lifespan. So make that difference. So let's talk about some of the ways doing good can make a difference in your health. I was telling you that if you do work to make a difference in someone's life, it can make a difference in your health, and it really does. There's a 2013 study that shows the relationship between volunteering and blood pressure. Researchers found that adults over 50 who volunteered about 4 hours a week were 40% less likely than non-volunteers to have developed hypertension 4 years later. So doing good now can benefit you down the road. It increases your life expectancy. It just makes you feel better. There's a sensation called a helper's high that's produced when your brain releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in your brain. They happen when you do good things for others. Doing good makes us happier at work. University of Wisconsin in Madison showed that your work satisfaction is higher in people who rated helping others higher than some of the other categories. Doing good promotes mental health. There's studies on volunteering and depression. So you want to benefit your mental health, do something good for others. Overall, the overall feeling of happiness. There's a University of California study that showed people who engage in kind acts over time just become happier people. Doing good can motivate you to do good again. As a 2012 study published in Psychological Science. So the more you help others, the more likely you are to help others later. Hey guys, let's make sure that we take time to do something good for others. I was sharing with you my story because, our life experiences shape who we are, what we do, and how we move forward. And this certainly isn't a podcast for me to talk about how amazing we are and the things that we're doing. But I just thought I'd give you a little peek into me and my life and why we do the things that we do. There may be a few more of these coming up in different ways. So stay tuned. Go do something good for someone else. If you want to help with school supplies, go ahead and click on that link below. Drop something by the office. We appreciate whatever you're interested in doing. I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins, and I hope you have a great day.
You are listening to the Beyond the Pain podcast, where Dr. Emil Tompkins and his guests guide you through the latest techniques to relieve your pain and learn how to fuel, move, and think for lifetime wellness.